Okay. Hello, good evening, each and everyone, each and every friend, each and every followers, each and every viewers, and all the SAT aspirants who are watching me live. Okay. So today we are just prepping for the gig because it is almost at the door. Because day after tomorrow you all have the examinations. So today I will be sharing some tricks and tips as well as the strategies of this SAT examinations, and along with a last minute passage which is very interesting because it is by none other than Charlotte Bronte. You might be knowing of his major works such as Jane Eyre. It was a memorable work of her, which is being amalgamated with Gothic works as well as pastoral elegy. She's been always a favorite writer for tragedy each and every time. So today we will be having an extract, or we will be discussing about an extract from the novel The Professor, written by Charlotte Bronte. I hope everyone knows about, is aware of the name Charlotte Bronte. She was an English novelist and was born in 1816 on London. And she has many remarkable works, such as Jane Eyre was one of them. The Professor is one of them, and she also has many sisters. You might have been. Uh, she has also written an autobiography on herself and about her family. So there are amongst the sisters Emily Bronte. I hope you have heard of the novel The Wuthering Heights. So The Wuthering Heights was written by Emily Bronte. Okay. And amongst Emily Bronte, there were other sisters such as Maria Bronte, Elizabeth Bronte, Annie Bronte, there was Branwell Bronte, and obviously Charlotte Bronte. Okay, she was the third sister amongst these five sisters. So Emily Bronte and Charlotte Bronte were completely indulged into the English literature and other such literary works. Okay, so today we will just start. Okay, before starting the professor, so I will just give you a gist of this novel. So here the main characteristics or the main characters of this play are William Crimsworth and Edward Crimsworth. Both are the siblings. Both are the siblings, and after the death of their mother and father, William, the younger one, William Crimsworth, was sent to their maternal uncle, who belonged from a very aristocratic society. Okay. And somehow you might be knowing that they were neglected, and they were deprived of love, affection, what they were supposed to get. Because what happens after I'm not speaking about the majority, but what happens sometimes, you will see that most of the time the maternal side or the paternal side, after the death of their maybe of their brother or sister, they doesn't take care of the child or the nephew, or yeah, their nephew or niece, too much as they take care of their own child. Okay. So as a result, at very early age, William Crimsworth was sent for work in Belgium. Okay. There he met his elder brother, Edward Crimsworth, who was a very successful tradesman. And there, uh, Edward gave William the post of a accountant, where he was very much, eminent, and he was working very hard with utmost dedication. But what happens? There always the evil is there, and there is always an anticlimax and climax in every story. There was a co-employee of Edward, who was Mr. Hansworth. So here Hansworth tried to help William, that is the brother of Edward, and try to help. And in sake of helping, in disguise of helping, he made a what I say made a huge loss for him. Okay. And he betrayed in the name of friendship with William. And however, William was fired from the job because he was being convicted of theft or forgery. Okay, which actually was done by the co-employee Hansworth, and the blame was given to William because William was very down to earth person, and he does not know about this all type of conspiracy. He just trust Hansworth after as a good friend, but at last he was a victim of this conspiracy. And afterward, then again, William returned back to his hometown. Okay, where his maternal uncles, along with their family, used to live. Okay, and now that is the continuation of this passage. Okay, so after when William came back, then there is the continuation from this passage, which we will be studying today. Okay, so it was originally published in 1857. Okay, so let us start. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession. So here, the author is Edward, Edward Crimsworth, the elder brother of William Crimsworth. Both are the central characters of this novel. Okay. So no man likes to acknowledge that he has mistake in the choice of his profession. So here, indirectly, Edward Crimsworth was saying about William Crimsworth, that is his younger brother, because he has made a wrong decision by taking the choice of his profession as a tradesman. But actually, his indulgence was in teaching. Later on, after returning to his hometown, he became an English teacher. William Crimsworth became an English teacher, and afterwards he became a professor. So that was the and so that is the main theme of the novel Life. Okay, so let us see how the journey begins. Excuse me. That he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled. So, I here Edward Crimsworth was trying to tell that every what happens whenever a person used to take a wrong decision in order of his profession or in order of his job. So what happens? He becomes suffocated, and until he does not get what most nearly to what I say, entangled or extremely suffocated or baffled, he does not make any complaint. He has to do that irksome or irritated job. Okay. So likewise, the same thing happened with William Crimsworth also. Cry out will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out. Here, will row against wind and tide means will row against or will overcome difficulties or will have to face difficulties in their life. Okay. And submits to be floated. I am baffled and submits to be floated passively back to land. And then what happens whenever he will get floated? That means William Crimsworth, when he was fired from his job of in the category of the or in the profession of tradesman, then he came back to the homeland, and at last he found his dream job, that is the teacher of a teacher of an English medium school. Okay. And submits to be floated passively back to land. That means back to the pavilion. From the first week of my residence in Tain, I felt my occupation irksome. So, irksome means irritating, something very much annoying. Okay. The thing itself, the work of copying and translating business letters, was a dry and tedious task enough. But had that been all, I should long have borne with the nuisance. Now, from the first week of my residence, so here we'll Edward Crimsworth, the elder brother of William Wordsworth, was saying, uttering the story of William Crimsworth in his words. I mean, in his words means according to the word, actual words which William spoke of. Okay, so he was telling, I am baffled and submits to be floated. So the from this part, so these lines belongs to the William. William Crimsworth, the main character of the story. Okay, so let me mark it down from this part. I am baffled. From this part, the story is being actually uttered by Edward Crimsworth, but actually he was uttering the story. I mean, the uttered words of William, as if suppose he is reading a letter, and as if William Crimsworth was uttering the whole story of his life through this letter. Okay, so these words are being uttered by William, not by Edward. Okay, I am baffled and submits to be floated passively back to the land, that he came back to the pavilion, to his homeland from Belgium. From the first week of my residence in 10, I felt my occupation irksome. That means irritating. The thing itself, the work of copying and translating business letters. So, as I told you that everyone, that he was being assigned to a position of an accountant as well as an editorial job also. In his own brother, that means Edward's workshop. Okay, was a dry and tedious task. That means a monotonous and a type of boring work. But that had been all. I should long have borne with the nuisance. I am not of an impatient nature, and influenced by the double desire of getting my living and justifying to myself and others the resolution I had taken to become a tradesman. I should have endured in the silence of the rust and cramp of my best faculties. So, here William is telling about his aim and ambition, that he want to be a professor or a teacher or be a faculty. But somehow, what I say, in the pressure of the circumstances, or maybe due to the a problem created by his maternal uncles, he had to forcibly take this job, which he was not at all interested. So, if you are given that job which you do not have any passion and dedication to, so you will someday you will feel very much suffocated. Okay, so that is the thing was happening with William. And so he was writing and he was telling to his brother. Okay, and this was being told by Edward to us, to all the readers. Okay, as a mouthpiece of William Crimsworth. Okay, so here the agony, the misery, or the sadness or the grief was being totally being focused and being reflected throughout this passage, where he was being thrown and he was his hands were tied, so he had to take that job forcibly. But his passion was to become a teacher or to become a faculty. Okay, so silence the rust and cramp of my best faculties. So he was telling rust and cramp means, I mean, the pain of his hurt. Rust and cramp mean pain of his hurt. Cramp means that his heart was crying. And rust, you all know that a layer which is being formed on iron. So similarly, he was telling that a rust has been layered on his talent. So his talent was being rusted when he was undergoing, or when he was doing this job of a tradesman under the company of a tradesman. Okay, so it was not his ambition or aim. So now his ambition was to become a faculty. After that, it will be fulfilled. So let us proceed. I should not have whispered, even inwardly, that I longed for liberty. I should have pent in every sigh by which my heart might have ventured to intimate its distress under the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult of Big Ben Close. So here, Big Ben Close means, so it is a place where the tradesmen, I mean, work was going on. Okay, smoke monotony means, smoke means, you know, the factory always, there is a sort of smoke is there from the factory or the mill. There is outcome of the smoke. Okay, so here the close smoke monotony means very boring. Okay, and joyless. Tumult means up and downs in the tumultuous means up and down, or turbulence, up and down in a profession or in someone's life. So it means tumult. So that means tumult means ups and downs in the profession at Big Ben Close. So and he was completely bored as he was not doing his dream job, and he was neither in his profession. Okay. And its panting desire for freer and fresher scenes. Panting means a type of sweating. It is a phenomenon of sweating which actually occurs in the dogs. Okay. So you will see that the saliva, or sorry, I mean the, what I say, when they used to perspire, they used to bring out their tongue outside. So they used to perspire from the tongue. So that phenomenon is known as panting. So it is a very vigorous phenomenon, very vigorous and very spontaneous. Okay, so as a result, its panting desire means that he was being longing. He just had obsession for his desire or as a faculty. Okay, so it's panting desire for freer and fresher scenes, that he want to free himself from this, I mean, scenario or this circumstance. He want to become, I mean, free and do whatever he wants to do. I should have set up the image of duty, the fetish of perseverance, in my small bedroom at Mrs. King's lodgings. Okay, so as first we have start with that when he was. So let us first go to that from the first week of my residence. So here, King's residence, Mr. King's residence means a type of lodge where he was being shifted or taking rent. Okay, Mrs. King's lodgings, and they too should have been my household gods. Household gods means a lord. I think you know about the landlord. So he is a type of landlord to him, from which my darling, my cherished in secret imagination, the tender and the mighty, should never, either by softness or strength, has severed me. So here, when he was, I mean, residing at Mrs. King's lodgings, so there the imagination that he decided to achieve his goal. That means which he was being describing as cherished in secret, darling. So that is his dream job of a faculty or a teacher. Okay. So there, uh, the conscience pricked him that you must go to the profession where you like, where you have dignity or perseverance. You must not go to that place which is tying your, I mean, hands, and is just forcing you to go in the fear of circumstance or in the fear of society. So you must do your dream job. Okay. But this was not all. The antipathy which had sprung up between myself and my employer, striking deeper root and spreading denser shade daily, excluded me from every glimpse of the sunshine of life, and I began to feel like a plant growing in humid darkness out of the slimy walls of a whale. So what happened? So he had just got his, dream, that he had to achieve the job of a faculty. But what happens, some and at a moment, whenever he was trying to achieve that, there were many such restraints were there, many such hurdles were there. Okay, so he had to face that, and after that he was being he was being went to depression. Okay, so here excluded me from every glimpse of sunshine of life, means he went to depression due to some sort of circumstances. Okay, and I began to feel like a plant growing in humid darkness out of the slimy walls of a whale. Okay, because he had not got the job yet, but he was strangling each and every time. He was struggling that, and he was going here and there, but not he was not successful. Okay, so that's why he was being shattered. He began to think that his dreams were began to shatter, and he was totally disheartened. Okay, and now we could see that he was becoming very much what I say, very much anxious and impatient, which he was not at before, but the circumstances made him. Okay, so let us. Antipathy is the only word which can express the feeling Edward Crimsworth had for me. So Edward Crimsworth is, as I told you, the elder brother of the main character William Crimsworth. Okay, so actually the author of this story is Edward Crimsworth. Okay, not the writer. The writer is Charlotte Bronte, but the author, the spokesman. The spokesman or the main character who was uttering this story was Edward Crimsworth. But Edward Crimsworth was also now, when while uttering, he was as a spokesman of William, he was telling that what actually William told him. Okay, so in the perspective of William, we are listening this passage by the spokesman Edward Crimsworth. So you might be thinking that it is very crucial. Okay, so you have to just get very much indulged into the passage and very much concentrated. That who is the spokesman here and who is the main character here. Okay, Edward Crimsworth had for me a feeling in a great measure involuntary, and which was liable to be excited by every the most trifling movement, look, or word of mine. My southern accent annoyed him. The degree of education evinced in my language irritated him. My punctuality, industry, and accuracy fixed his dislike and gave it the high flavor and poignant relish of envy. Okay, so here we could see that William Crimsworth was showing. We could see that here Edward was being placed in the higher throne of envy. Okay, as a negative characterization in this passage, we could see whenever I was seeing, because we could see that from especially from this line, my southern accent annoyed him. The degree of education. So here my southern accent. So that means degree of education means that it was being shown that whenever William Crimsworth was speaking, okay, was speaking his brother, Edward could see that William was so much well educated, and he had higher degrees as well. Okay, and as a result, that became a very common, common reason for his envy. And however, the co-worker, as I told you, Hansworth, who made a conspiracy with Edward to fire William from the job as a tradesman. Okay. So after that, after the envy, created or generated in his emotions, so that Mr. Hansworth, the co-worker, took advantage of it and together asked Edward to fire his brother, his brother William from the job. Okay, my Evans in my language irritated him, my punctuality. So you will see, for example, I'm telling you, suppose you are PhD from Oxford University, and suppose I am only simple masters from a local university. Okay, local university not means I'm not from, suppose we are not from America. I am speaking of any Indian degrees. Okay, so what will happen? So the way of your speaking, the accent which you will be speaking will be much privileged, and will be well sophisticated than us, because you are very high educated, and that too from a top brass university, right? And that could also feel myself or others into complexity, right? But we don't think that it is very rare that among siblings, and that is own brothers, can feel envy with each other. It is a very rare sight, but happens. Sometimes it happens. Suppose one brother remains uneducated and is indulged in tradesman or in business, just like Edward, and the other brother who is younger is highly qualified and have huge degrees, and his accent is very good. So then there could be a sort of complexity. But nowadays it does not happen. But I don't know about the past. Okay, it may be happening. Okay, let us see. He feared that I too should one day make a successful tradesman. So there was a fear or a complexity working with Edward for his younger brother William, that he might get away with it because he is well accomplished. He is well educated than Edward. So he got a fear, a complexity, that if he works here as a tradesman, uh, in latter in latter days he could also become the top brass or become the higher authority in the tradesman, and Edward may have to work under than William. So it is not accepted by Edward. So Edward, in complexity and in fear, had fired his own younger brother William from the job, along obviously with the conspiracy of a co-fellow. Okay, had I been anything inferior to him, he would not have hated me so thoroughly. But I knew all that he knew. And what was worse, he suspected that I kept the padlock of silence on mental wealth on which he was no surer. Okay, so now William was telling that if he was inferior, not superior, then I hope Edward would not have hated him, right? So he also, he was feeling very much unhappy, very sad to the behavior of his elder brother, that somehow he was being irritated and somehow he was hating him, he was denigrating him. So it could be a sort of irritation, or a sort of, you might be knowing, a sort of annoying moment for a brother, or the siblings, that if each one of us, or each of the brother, hated each other, so then you will feel very much irritated or suffocated. So sometimes William was wishing that if he could have inferior than Edward, then he hoped that he could not have hated him. Okay, and what is his fault? That he is educated, and that's why he is hating him. And he was, and that grief and that agony was, each and every time was killing William. He was being depressed. Okay, if he could have one placed me in a ridiculous or mortifying position, he would have forgiven me much. But I was guarded by three faculties: caution, tact, observation, and prowling and prying, as was Edward's malignity. It could never baffle the lynx eyes of this, my natural sentinels. So he was so down to earth. William was so down to earth and so human and humble that he also can give up higher ranks, and he don't want to take higher ranks or higher position in the company of tradesmen of his elder brother. He thinks that if Edward could have given him a very lower rank, then the hatred or the denigration from his heart would have lessened, would have decreased. But at the same time, he has three conscience working at each and every time in his mind. One is the caution, tact, and observation. That he was very much practical. He was very much, alert, very much alerting person, and tact, that he can keep his, I mean, prestige, or his, he does not want his self-esteem to be hurt. Okay, so he was in an inner conflict, in a dilemma. In another, in one hand, he want to work very much in a very lower position in order to make his elder brother glad, make his elder brother happy. But at the same time, his self esteem, self confidence, his observation does not allow him to do that. Okay, so here there he was going with an within an inner conflict between his mind and soul. So that was a very promising and suffocating situation for him. Okay, so that would happen. And another, and he was telling that, he was thinking that if he listens to his self-esteem in order to save his, esteem or confidence, he will not work for the lower ranks. But if he wants to keep happy his elder brother Edward, he have to work in lower ranks. Okay, okay, but at the same time, the malignity, that means the malice or the poisoning mind or the poisoning thought of Edward was increasing gradually. So that was also a matter of fear for him. Day by day, did his malice watch my tact. So gradually, his malice means a type of denigration, hatred. Okay, hatred watch my tact. So it was, so whenever he was seeing that, his Edward was saying that William was doing further studies, was trying to read or going through the, the books in order to become a faculty. So he was becoming more jealous, more envious, and this envy at last became to vengeance, revenge. As a result, William was being fired from his job. Okay, hoping it would sleep. So Edward was, sometimes he was thinking that his self-esteem, that the self-esteem of William would become dormant, would become inactive someday. So he was waiting for it. Edward was waiting for it because he was becoming very much complex. He was in um, He was, suffering from inferiority complex, that his brother has become superior than him in every aspect, and he is much capable. That, I mean, William is much capable than Edward to achieve the top brass position. Okay, and could beat him anytime. Beat means I'm in top and leave him behind, much in the race of business and of tradesmen. Okay, so it become a matter of fear for him, hoping it would sleep and prepare to steal snake like on its slumber, and prepare to steal snake like on its slumber. So he was just trying to, I mean, believe that his self-esteem would become dormant or inactive, and leaving his self-esteem behind, William will work under, I mean, at very lower work, just as a clerical type of work. And it's a very, I mean, low wage work, or a very low department. It's, I mean, the department is of a type of group C or group D type of department. So he was waiting for that. Edward was waiting for that. But tact, if it be genuine, never sleeps. So if you have ambition, if you have self-esteem, it will never become inactive. It will be active 24/7. I had received my first quarter's wages and was returning to my lodgings. So in order to at at some of the part, before the, I mean, reminding that, before thinking that what would happen for the future, so he began to work as a clerk in that company. Okay, somehow keeping aside his self-esteem. Okay, and he got his first quarter wages. First quarter wages means after 4 months they were being paid. Okay, and was returning to my lodgings, to the rented house, possessed heart and soul with the pleasant feeling that the master who had paid me grudged every penny of that hard earned pittance. That means he was telling that his master or his boss was none other than his own elder brother, his own elder brother, Mr. Edward Crimsworth, has paid him. And whenever he was paying, every money was filled with grudge. What that means? That he was paying him, but whenever he was giving his remuneration, he was showing that emotion or that expression of grudge. Grudge means a type of anger mixed with vengeance. That suppose whenever you are angry on someone, you make a plan of vengeance or revenge. So that is grudge, and that is very malicious, very harmful. Every penny of that hard earned pittance. Pittance means toil or labor. I had long ceased to regard Mr. Crimsworth as my brother. He was a hard grinding master. Hard grinding master means what I say. He used to make work his laborers, make them hard toil or hard labor. Okay, slave master, type of a slave master. He wished to be an inexorable tyrant. That was all. Tyrant means, you might be knowing, it is a type of torture. A torture was going on. Inexorable means it is a type of not so much harmful, but a harmless tyrant, just like Napoleon, not like Hitler. Okay. Thoughts not varied but strong, occupied by mind. Two voices spoke within me. As I told you that he was I mean, a constant inner conflict was going on between his heart and soul. So, two voices spoke within me again and again. They uttered the same monotonous phrases. One said, William, your life is intolerable. The other, what can you do to alter it? So, the first word was saying, the voice of the mind was saying that, William, your life is intolerable, that you cannot stay in this life. It is intolerable. You are not living your life. You're not living your dream. You're not doing your dream job. Right? You are being binded with the circumstances, and you are doing a job which you doesn't deserve. Okay, you deserve more, and you are doing, and that too under a very low grade. Okay, in an inferior position. Okay, so somehow you are trying to drown out your self esteem. So here it was the first voice was the voice of the mind, because mind is always practical. Mind always speaks something practical, and heart always speaks something emotional. Okay, it can be true or it cannot be true, or it can be, I mean, whenever someone says something practical, he or she or any person is always right. Okay, because they have evidence, they have logic behind it. So our mind also have logic, lot of gray matter, right? That's why always speaking something practical, never speak something emotional. William, your life is intolerable. That means your life is suffocating. You cannot live like this. And the other, what can you do to alter it? That means the heart is telling that, do you have any alteration for this work? If you leave this job, do you have any alteration? Do you have any alteration job? What do you have? How can you earn your living then? How can you earn your bread? Okay. So that was the two simultaneous voices coming from the mind and the heart, respectively. I walked fast, for it was a cold, frosty night in January. As I approached my lodgings, I turned from a general view of my affairs to the particular speculation as to whether my fire would be out. Looking towards the window of my sitting room, I saw no cheering red gleam. So, here there is a metaphorical meaning in this line. I turned from a general view of my affairs to the particular speculation. Particular speculation means perspective, both the perspectives of mind and the soul, as to whether my fire would be out. My fire would be out means that his passion, perseverance, dedication, self esteem is inactive or not, has become inactive. At, he's thinking at one perspective. And at the other perspective, he was thinking, looking towards the window of my sitting room, I had no cheering red gleam. This means that he was longing for something which he was aiming, which was his aim, objectives, that his dream job, the faculty job. But he's looking towards window of my sitting room. That means whenever he was looking out for his future or his future plans, he cannot. I saw no cheering red gleam. Means cheering red gleam means that you don't have any option either. You cannot see. You don't have any alteration for your job. You haven't got any break. You cannot get any breakthrough so that you could leave your current job. Okay. So that is the end of the passage. I hope everyone have understood. Okay, so before starting going to the question and answer round, so I would like to wish all the very best to all my viewers and all the aspirants, stat aspirants, because it's day after tomorrow. I hope you have prepared very well and you are very thorough with each and every session and all the passages. And you must, and I want to share you one trick, that if there is any tricky questions or any tough questions, so please leave it for the end. So you must go through the, and you must complete the easy questions first. Okay. And it will consume the time. If you, if you first, struggle with those tough questions, it will consume much time. But if you do all the easy questions and you complete those things, so then your time will be saved for later. Then you could struggle, right? And be over and be self confident. Okay. And don't become furious, and don't become what I say, so much frustrated after seeing the question paper. So you must think. So suppose when we will be, discussing our question and answer round, so you will see that you have to thoroughly go through the passage, and you have to choose that option which is 90% nearest. Okay. So you can be puzzled with very near, very near options, with very probable options which could be correct, but you have to think which is also very, very close. Okay. And please do subscribe, like, and share our channel and our videos, and please keep watching my session. Okay, so let me see how many people are live with me today. Okay, Tarun is there. Hi, Tarun. Sorry, I could not. I haven't seen your, question. Okay, baffled means a type of conflict, inner conflict, a type of dilemma, along with suffocation. Okay, so that means baffled, or a type of what I say, stammering, stammering, that you want to say something, you want to say something, but not, you cannot utter. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay. uh, and baffled means that you are being suffocated. Okay. Okay, so let us go to the question and answers. Tarun, I hope you are ready. In my last session you have answered all the questions, and that too, everything was right. I hope best for today's session also. Let us see. Question number 1: which choice best summarizes the passage? Okay. Option A: a character describes his dislike for his new job and considers the reason why. Option B: two characters employed in the same office become increasingly competitive. Option C: a young man regrets privately a choice that he defends publicly. Or option D: a new employee experiences optimism, then frustration, and finally despair. So, what do you think? Okay, I'm waiting for your answer. Everyone, please try to answer. Which choice best summarizes the passage? Okay, please. I I want to see answers. Okay, okay, okay. Tarun is saying option C. Okay, a young man regrets privately a choice that he defends publicly. Yeah, Tarun, what are you doing? I think if you sat for the sat, you would have been completely, you have been selected. And that's right. Option C, a young man means here the main central character of the story, Mr. William Crimsworth, regrets privately a choice. So he was regretting a choice as working as a professional in tradesman. But but actually it was not his dream job. His dream job was a job of a faculty that he defends publicly. Very good. Okay, now coming to question number 2. The main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is option A, establish the narrator's perspective on a controversy. Option B, provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. Option C, offer a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. Option D, contrast the narrator's good intentions with his malicious conduct. Okay, so let us go to the very opening sentence of the passage. Excuse me. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled. So, up till this, what do you think? What perspective is being reflected through this line, through this opening line? So, let us go to the options. Okay, Tarun, I want the answer. Okay. So option A is, oh, okay. Tarun is confused. No issues. The main purpose of the opening sentence of the passage is to establish option A, narrator's perspective on a controversy. Option B, provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. Option C, offer a symbolic representation of Edward Crimsworth's plight. Or option D, contrast the narrator's good intentions with his malicious conduct. So, without any, yes. So the correct answer, yes, you are confused between B and D, and the correct answer is option B. Right. Provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. So you can see that in the very first line, no one is blaming no one. No one is blaming. I mean, neither Edward is blaming William, neither William is blaming Edward. Okay. So here, I mean, the personal choice of William was being told. Okay, where he had make a wrong decision. Okay, and his emotional state and the state of emotion was also, I mean, reflected in this line. So the correct answer would be B. Provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. So the author is exaggerating, not exaggerating, actually clarifying, clarifying with much details. Detailed clarification. He is giving a detailed clarification of his emotional and mental state after choosing the wrong profession. Okay. Just for example, suppose if Sachin Tendulkar was asked to choose the role of a playback singer, so it would be so much embarrassing, you could think, or Lata Mangeshkar would have been asked to play football or cricket. So the same type of emotional, state, mental turbulence or the emotional turbulence would happen or tumultuous situation would have happened. Okay, so that is the, the example. Okay. Okay, coming to question number 3. During the course of the first paragraph, the narrator's focus shifts from Option A, recollection of past confidence to acknowledgement of present self doubt. Option B, reflection on his expectations. Okay, hello, Yuvraj. Okay, Yuvraj is telling option number C. Okay, no, it was option number B, as I have told you that. Uh, the author was giving a detailed clarification of the emotional state of William Crimsworth, the central character of the passage. Okay, so the correct answer is option B. I hope you have come late. So I would ask you to please read the main passage, then you could have understood. Okay. Provide context useful in understanding the narrator's emotional state. Okay, now coming to question number 3. During the course of the first paragraph, the narrator's focus shifts from option A, recollection of past confidence to acknowledgement of present self doubt. Option B, reflection on his expectations of life as a tradesman to his desire for another job. Option C, generalization about job satisfaction to specifics of his own situation. Option D, evaluation of factors making him unhappy to identification of alternatives. So what is the correct answer? So let us shift to the first paragraph. Okay, here comes the first paragraph. Okay, after 1 minute, I will scroll down. Okay, Tarun, Yuvraj, who are seeing me live, please try to answer the question. I know every aspirant of SAT or every examiners are busy with their SAT preparations. Okay. Okay, okay. So others, please try to answer. Tarun, please try. Should I go to the questions then? Question part then you can understand. During the course of the first paragraph, the narrator's focus shifts from. Okay, Tarun is saying option number C. Tarun, I must say, you're just genius. And the correct answer is option C. Generalization about job dissatisfaction to the specifics of his own situation. Okay, Yuvraj have also told the same option, and yeah, it's correct. Both of you are correct. Congratulations. Generalization about job dissatisfaction to the specifics of his own situation. As I told you that William Crimsworth was his hands were tied in front of the circumstances because his maternal uncle were not taking care of him properly after the death of his parents. So as a result, he thought that he had to achieve something on his own. He had to, he had to earn something because they were feeling so much annoyed by taking care of William. So as a result, he took a wrong decision of choosing a wrong job. Okay, and then after that, he was showing his dissatisfaction. He was repeatedly he was saying that his job was irksome, it was annoying, right? And that happened to the specifics of his own situation, own circumstance. In the hands of circumstance, he had to choose his job, the wrong job. Okay, and he haven't told completely that he has desire for another job. Okay, in the very first paragraph. In the second paragraph, he had uttered it, but in the first paragraph, he haven't told about his faculty job. Okay, coming to question number 4. The references to shade and darkness at the end of the first paragraph mainly have which effect? They evoke the narrator's sense of dismay. Dismay means a type of agony, unhappiness. Option B, they reflect the narrator's sinister thoughts. Sinister means a type of criminal. Sinister means something macabre or something horrifying. Sinister means horrifying thoughts, horrifying or something very much appalling thoughts. They capture the narrator's fear of confinement. Fear of confinement means, a type of house arrest. Sinister means horrible. Yes, horrifying. Right, Tarun. Sinister means horrible or horrifying. Very much, you will be very much frightened of it. Okay. Confinement means a type of prison. Okay, imprisonment. Okay, and option D, they reveal the narrator's longing for rest. That the narrator was, the narrator has been very tired or has been very much exhausted that he needs rest. So option D is, I would like to tell you that option D is out of the context because he was not thinking of the rest. Okay, no, Yuvraj. Answer D is not correct. No, option D is not correct. Oh, great. Tarun will top the SAT exam, I guess. And the correct answer is option A. They evoke the narrator's sense of dismay. That he is too much shattered with his thoughts, too much shattered with his, wrong, wrong decision of taking the wrong job. Understood this passage. So that is the end of our session. So I would like to wish everyone all the very best. Congratulations to each and everyone that you are sitting for that exam and you are getting that opportunity, and all the very best that you must achieve your dream course. Okay. And do like and subscribe, and please watch our channel SATLAS uh, for getting more and more updates of SAT and more information of SAT. Okay, all the very best. Have a great exam. All the very best. Best of luck to each and everyone. Good night. This is Moumita signing off. Take care. Bye. See ya.